Hi, this is Kim Eddleston with Entrepreneur and Innovation Exchange, and it's a pleasure to be here today with Dr. Susan Laverick, who's the director and founder of the House of Beaufort, which is located in the UK and Switzerland. The House of Beaufort is an executive consulting company that does work with international companies, NGOs, academic institutions, and private companies, helping them with career development and also retention of their employees. She also does a lot of work in helping women climb the corporate ladder and helping them with their career progression and mentoring. So today we're going to be focusing on what women entrepreneurs can do in order to really increase their impact and confidence in running their businesses. So thank you for being here today with me, Susan.
It's a huge pleasure, and I'm delighted to be talking to you.
Excellent. So let me ask you, how can women entrepreneurs improve their professional impact?
I think female entrepreneurs have a huge advantage over other women because they have grit, they have determination, and they have resilience. They need those three qualities to create an entrepreneurial company. So they have the foundations for a great impact. Now, I think the most important thing for them is to be aware that their impact will be enhanced if they can bring a much more powerful voice to their communication skills. Now, the big problem I think that especially startup entrepreneur ladies might experience is the fear of rejection, the problems associated with aligning a personal brand with a company vision, and also networking and learning to speak up. I think rejection, many women across the spectrum equate it or conflate it with failure. And we have a pathological fear of being rejected, and we tend to ruminate when our pitch wasn't accepted or our investment idea was rejected, and we go home and we think, oh my gosh, why didn't this work? What did I do wrong? Why did I fail? And that can hold us back. And I can imagine, especially for these brilliant young women who are starting out with their entrepreneurial ideas and their companies, that this can be a great impediment. Rejection is good because we can learn from it, we can regroup and understand, why did it go wrong? What was the problem? Was it me? Was I ill prepared? Was the company I was presenting to, were they receptive, or were they just not interested in my idea? And so to go away and really deconstruct the experience and what went wrong, and not creating that big mental barrier that we tend to, and I still do, when I experience a rejection, and harnessing that experience so that the next time you pitch, you present an idea, or you're networking, you are absolutely in control of the entire process.
So in your book, you mentioned the importance of presence. How can women entrepreneurs help to build presence so that they will be more effective?
I feel very strongly about this topic, and I do believe that presence is something that can be enhanced and refined. And a lot of women we meet say, you can't acquire presence, it's something you're born with. And that is absolutely not true. And there are so many talented women with brilliant ideas, and as we know in your sphere, in the family firms and entrepreneurial work, who deny themselves the potential for greater impact by neglecting the presence factor. Now, what do we mean by the presence factor? We're talking about gravitas. We're talking about how we communicate and obviously how we look. But I think elusive gravitas, which is how we act, how we're perceived, how you and I, when we're teaching or we're interacting with clients, how our brand is communicated with integrity and vision, and all of those things come down to how we communicate, and we can learn to be better communicators.
So in becoming a better communicator, what's a hiccup or a mistake you see women often make?
unfortunately, women, and this comes back to our soft skills conversation that we were having yesterday, women tend to be very diligent about consolidating their technical skills because we always tend to feel we need to be the best we can be, whether it's a scientist or an entrepreneur or a lawyer or an academic faculty member, and we tend to neglect the soft skills because we think I can come back to those. Now, women also tend to have a natural repertoire because we have the empathy, we have the emotional intelligence, we are naturally collaborative, we are naturally, we're good communicators, but we tend to neglect the communication piece. And I think it's, especially for these entrepreneurs, it's looking at those areas in their repertoire where they know, actually, I didn't make a good pitch. It was a disaster. So if you know that you have to make a pitch, then the best thing is preparing. And again, we were saying yesterday together that simplicity is the secret to success. Now, simplicity isn't simplistic. And communicating those ideas with authority and conviction is also enhancing your gravitas, because if you cannot communicate your idea, then no one is going to listen to you. A common mistake that we find across the career spectrum is that women are reluctant to take ownership for their achievements, and that can impact gravitas, presence, and credibility. If you can't take credit for the achievements, and especially if you've built a business and you're talking to people about the business and the impact it can have in a community, then you're not going to have a significant impact. And part of that is grounded in the language we use. Women have a very bad habit, and maybe you and I do the same thing. They predicate their statements. I'm sorry, I just want to say, excuse me.
I don't know, but.
Or may I just interrupt? And that diminishes the authority when really they don't need to use those preludes to their statements. And just learn not to qualify your idea. I have achieved this. My company is suggesting this option. And you think of Anita Roddick, the founder of Body Shop. I mean, she started as a tiny startup, didn't she? A little entrepreneur. And she aligned her business, her personal values with her bigger vision. But it was always, I believe, and I want to make a change. I want to make a difference. So I think women can achieve that if they speak in the first person and don't apologize.
When women are pitching to investors, is there any advice you have that would help them, again, build presence and hopefully really gain the confidence of those investors in their business?
Absolutely. Keep it short, keep it simple, rehearse that pitch until you are pitch perfect. It's only 2 minutes sometimes. And make those 2 minutes count and rehearse, know it as well as you know your business. And the more you know something, the more authoritative you are. And of course, to further enhance the impact of that pitch, don't wing it. Don't think, go with the flow. Write it down. There's nothing better than a script. And no one is suggesting going in with a script. But if you know what you're going to say, you've rehearsed it. It's in black and white. You cannot go wrong.
Excellent advice. Again, thank you so much for being here with me today, Dr. Susan Laverick.
Pleasure.
And again, this is Kim Eddleston with Entrepreneur and Innovation Exchange. Thank you.